What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916. You tune into another episode of Fresh Out Interviews. Man, I got with me today Robert L. Hines, comedian extraordinaire, ex-correctional guard, Cook County, Chicago, Chi-Town, Chirac. And yeah, man, he's got some interesting things to say, man. I want to get his story because, you know, you guys have been asking for a correctional officer, and you know, I felt that it's better to hear it from him, to have him tell his story. So I'm gonna get a little background from him and let him share his insights. So Robert, man, tell the people a little bit about where you're from and where you grew up, man.
I'm from Chicago, and I grew up on the South Side. During the Great Migration, a lot of people migrated in Chicago to either the West or South Sides. Mm-hmm. And my family moved to the South Side. It was still white families around when my family moved in.
So South Side today considered a nice area, or?
Certain parts of it is,
okay,
and then other parts are not. But a lot of the people who were from the South Side moved to the South suburbs.
Okay.
And
okay.
so it's the blackness has just started to expand. Mm-hmm. And so there are parts of the South Side that are really, really nice. And then there's other parts that are fairly ignored and don't get a lot of resources. I lived in the place that got ignored and didn't get a lot of resources. The only thing we got was crack. You know what That's what they sent us and shit.
Yeah.
Crack. But I was always funny, like as a child. Mm-hmm. And my family was fairly supportive of my silliness. My reason for being funny was because the more funny I was, the more my family paid attention to me.
Okay.
And it got to a point where I was a celebrity in my own family. And when I got to that point, I decided I wanted to do more. I started and when I was 16, I was doing radio plug-ins. I would call into the radio station.
Oh, wow.
And imitate Eddie Murphy being buckwheat. Basically what I would be doing. My father found out about it. My father's not a silly man.
So what would you be saying on the radio?
Hello, Mr. Volkman. How are you today? It was a dude named Volkman.
Yeah.
He's on this station called B96.
Okay.
And now it's Eddie and Jobo. He built himself up really big, but at the time he wasn't as large.
Okay.
And I would do buckwheat on his station about whatever was going on at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
My father found out about it, shut that shit totally fucked up. And the funny thing about my dad, man, he's a gangster type dude. Like he's a hard-working, be on time, nose to the grindstone.
No nonsense.
No bullshit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he felt like I was too soft and too silly.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really understand what it is to be a black man in America. And I know this because just recently, I'm smoking weed, and I come in to talk to him. My father's 90. And I was like, dude, for a long time, I thought you didn't like me. He was like, no. It's not that I didn't like you. I love you. He said, but I just didn't have much use for the silly shit.
Like that ain't no joke.
Right. Like,
ain't no compassion or nothing.
Man,
like,
you got to learn what it is to be black in America. And you run around here bopping and laughing and shit like
shit ain't no joke.
This ain't nothing funny about it. Yeah. And this is the type of dude my dad is. My dad, he has a brother who, his little brother, he loves his little brother to death. You can't tell my father shit about his little brother. So I take my father to see his little brother. His brother lives in Columbus, Ohio. Mm-hmm. He has a bunch of other siblings, but this brother, he will kill a brick over this man. Mm-hmm. And so his little brother's there and shit. And when I'm working in Columbus, because in Columbus, Ohio, it's a club called the it's Improvs and I can't think of the name of the club, but it's affiliated with the Improv.
Okay.
And the smaller cities have this other club, and the bigger cities have Improv.
Okay.
Right? And so in order to work in that region, there's a guy named Dave Stroop who runs all the feature work in the Midwest. Mm-hmm. So I'll go to work for him because I want to showcase to try to get on his show. And my father, I bring him, and my uncle, and my cousin, my little cousin. And they all sitting directly in the middle in the back because that's the type of niggas they are. They want to see everything, but they don't want to be seen, right? So they just sitting, they big old dude, like these is warriors, man. Big knuckle
big
dragging
mandingo.
niggas. They ain't fucking around. You dig what I'm saying? When they tell you to do something, you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
So I bring him in, and I'm 5'10" at best and shit. My cousin played football. You understand? Like in the pros.
Yeah.
this dude is huge. So him, my father, and my uncle come in. They sitting in the back. And I go up and I do my thing.
Yeah.
I get through doing my thing. I walk to the back to see what my father and my uncle think. And my uncle is smiling. He goes, man, I thought you was professional. I didn't expect this shit.
Yeah.
And my father's sitting there crying.
Yeah.
And I look at him. I'm like, what's up, man? He said, man, I'm sorry. He said, brother, I just didn't know. You dig what I'm saying? I had no idea you were this talented. And from that point forward, he ain't never questioned nothing I did. Like, hey, where you working at? Where you gonna be at? What time? You know, and he don't move around like he's 90. He don't leave the house. He don't want to leave the house. And my mother, it is her job in her mind to keep that old man alive. So she feeds him, she takes care of him. And then he sits around and says really wise shit that I never paid attention to before.
It's crazy though, because like, I think like my grandpa saying like, he get older, he would say some stuff like damn, where'd that come from?
Right.
You know, you ain't never said nothing like this. Now you tell me these old stories. You're like, damn, why didn't you tell me this shit years ago?
Because there is a position that he needs to be in and that you need to be in until he realizes you're a man.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? I was 28 years old. My grandfather was like, man, my grandfather has 11 children, right? He passed away in 1998. 1997, I went to see him in Mississippi, and he was like, hey, man, one year the crops didn't come in. I had to go get my pool cue, and I had to go hustle to get my feed. I got babies to feed. I'm not taking no losses. And I was like, Granddaddy, you gambled? He was like, son, I have done everything a grown man wants to do in this life.
Damn.
Now, this a poor man.
Yeah.
Because he was good looking, kind of a short guy, curly hair.
Yeah.
Them bitches loved his ass. You dig what I'm saying? And he was a man amongst men. My grandfather wasn't no more than about 5'7", but he had hands like Mickey Mouse. You dig what I'm saying? Hi, boys and girls, sit your little ass down. Pow! You dig what I'm saying? Like,
smack the shit out of you.
He was a man's man, and he had a bunch of male children and a bunch of little girls that he had to protect in the middle of the Jim Crow South. Motherfucker taught me how to shoot a shotgun when I was 12.
Damn.
Nigga, lean in, press the trigger. Because you don't have to aim a shotgun. So in every one of their collective houses, they all had shotguns. Because it's not, you don't have to do a whole lot. You just point it and shoot it. And it's going to take care of the business for you.
So when did you first get into the comedy scene? Because I know, like you said, you did corrections for a little while, then you got into comedy. Was it, did you do comedy first, then get in corrections, then took a break, or?
I did comedy first.
Okay.
And this was before my father had any idea of who I was. And I got lucky. The first time I did stand-up, it was in a club called the Funny Firm when I turned 21 years old. I tried to get in when I was 18. Very interesting story. Well, actually, I was 17. Do you know who Dave Duerson is? Dave Duerson was the safety for the 1985 Chicago Bears. Now, at the time, the Chicago Bears were everything in Chicago. When they won, the city was theirs to do whatever they liked. And what he did was he mentored high school kids. So he came to my school, Chicago Vocational, and he would mentor kids. Now, I wasn't one of the kids he was mentoring, but I was very resourceful, and I'm not finna let you tell me no. You dig? I'm finna go in there and see Dave Duerson. So I go in, and I'm sitting there, and he's standing there, and I'm in a bad mood for whatever reason. You know, kids are emotional, fucking chemically imbalanced and shit, angry all the time. You know? And so he's looking at me, and I'm sitting by myself. Now, it's a whole room full of kids, and I'm sitting by myself pouting. And he looks at me and he goes, what do you want to do when you grow up? Because he's giving all these kids, because he went to Notre Dame. He got a lot of resources. So he's trying to help these kids do shit.
Yeah, open up some doors.
Open up doors. And he looks at me and goes, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I said, I want to be a comedian. How you going to help me? And he said, well, and this dude didn't break a sweat, didn't even look at me like, because I'm being a shit.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I don't really know a lot about comedy. However, Tim Reitman, who was the tight end at the time, he goes to this place called the Funny Firm, 1987. So I go to the Funny Firm, they won't let me in. So I wait from 17 till 21, and I'm thinking of funny shit that I could say and all this, and I go in there, and they don't let me go up the first 6 months. They just let me sit around, don't want to even give me stage time. But what I noticed is there's a bunch of black dudes that also are sitting and ain't getting no stage time. So the first time I go on stage, it was in June of 1991. And I go on, now I had tried to get into a comedy, they had competitions.
Okay.
And I tried to get into a competition when I was 20, but they wouldn't let me in. So at 21, I go on stage, I do a few minutes. I come off stage, and there's this dude named Evan Lionel. He lives here now. Big time comedy guy, independent, and him and Bernie Mac were partners. And he introduced me to Bernie, and then Bernie looks at me and goes, okay, I got a Monday night show you could come to next week.
So Bernie Mac, he's from Chicago, huh?
Bernie Mac is from Chicago, born and raised.
What about Robin Harris? Isn't he from Chicago?
I don't know if Robin is from Chicago,
Before
but
he
him and
passed?
Bernie were tight.
Yeah, I remember. Him
and Bernie were really cool. As a matter of fact, Bernie kind of took his lane
after
when
he passed
died.
away. Yeah, I remember. Robin Harris was a funny motherfucker.
Man, that motherfucker was
he's
incredibly
funny, man. He was funny, man.
And he would just look at you and take apart, like you could be in your best shit.
Yeah,
and he'd look at you like, what's wrong with your shoestrings, nigga?
Yeah.
Like, my shoestrings?
Yeah.
What? I'm fuck, nigga, I did everything else right.
Yeah.
He was amazing. And Bernie was very similar.
Yeah, Bernie
and
was
Bernie
too.
was the entertainer to a lot of gangster niggas. Because his show started on Monday night at midnight.
Oh, yeah.
It ain't nobody in here but gangsters.
Exactly.
And there would be times where they wasn't even listening to him. And he would shut them niggas down. Like, this nigga was courageous as hell. Like, one particular night, I'm sitting there in the club, because I would go every week, even if I wasn't on.
Okay.
I wanted to see Bernie. I followed Bernie everywhere. And he had a little ghetto tour where he would take you to these little hood-ass bars, Leo's Den, and fucking just all this shit in the hood, and you got to make these angry niggas happy.
Yeah. And you better be funny, or else they're going to beat that ass.
And if you say some shit that's off color to them, and it's not funny, or if it's too funny, they're going to fuck you up.
Yeah.
And so you got to find that balance of trying to entertain these really angry men. And one night, Bernie wasn't getting shit from these niggas. They talking to each other. They kicking it. And Bernie stopped talking, and there was a big-ass grand piano on stage. This was at the Cotton Club. Bernie sits down at the piano and starts playing the piano. Now this is blowing motherfuckers' mind, like, this nigga can play piano? Who knew?
Yeah.
And just as people starting to groove and shit, he slams the shit shut and stood up to the microphone and said, you motherfuckers should have listened to me in the beginning. And then just start talking about niggas at each fucking table.
Oh,
Told
shit.
the whole club. When he got through, man, motherfuckers like, oh my God, Bernie, you the funniest nigga in the world. And then he looks around and goes, okay, this next young man I bring to the stage. Now he done did 45 minutes.
Damn.
And now you got to go up and try to do
Behind
15 behind that. But what it makes you, it makes you amazingly hard.
Yeah.
It's like, you like, fuck it. Ain't nothing y'all can present to me that I almost died the other night trying to do it. It ain't nothing that you can present to me that's going to worry me much. I mean, like, and then I started doing crossover shit. Once I started doing white rooms, I was like, you know, there are perspective issues. Right?
Do you think it's harder or easier to make a white room laugh than a black room?
It is definitely hard to make a black room laugh, because not only do you have to be funny, they have to feel you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They got to feel you.
They're trying to pick you apart soon as you get up there.
Mm-hmm. Who is this nigga? What make him think?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What, you think you're going to get my bitch? No, you're not going to. Well, maybe I could. You
Yeah.
know? And that's the funny thing, man. That's one of the things that helped me to realize who I was. This past summer, one of the brothers I was hanging out with, I had a heart issue. And so I had this dumbass vest on. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to deal with it. I just want to be funny right now. But just as I'm about to go on, the vest had a defibrillator in it. And it would shock you if it felt like your heart wasn't beating. If it felt like it. Mm-hmm. So they give you these, it's got a big ass pack to it.
Like a sensor?
Yeah, and it's the vest is the sensor and the pack runs the vest. And sometimes the vest would get ready to shock me and it would start talking. Don't get involved. Bystanders, stand back. And it starts counting down because it's about to defibrillate. So you got to press these two buttons to make it stop. I'm about to go on stage at the Laugh Factory in Chicago. Dude is about to introduce me. I'm standing at the foot of the stage and the thing goes off. Stand back. So now I got to talk about this shit that I had no idea that I wanted to talk about because people are questioning it.
Like, what the hell is
this?
this?
What the fuck is that? So now I got to do a joke about being in the hospital and having a heart issue. I do the shit. And it's fairly funny. I come off stage, my boy like, nigga, did you just make that up? I was like, well, I had to do something. He says, nigga, that shit was incredible. Now he's filling my head with like, nigga, you are extraordinary and you need to realize it. And I'm doing this podcast, I'm hanging around with these cats and I'm realizing, yeah, I was around when Bernie was around. I am somewhat of a Chicago comedy legend. And I need to embrace that and give all the help I can give to other comedians as best I can from this perspective. And I'm telling you, man, the brothers make you harder they make you better. You dig what I'm saying? Being around other people that look like me made me better. So then when I got to go to these little rooms and shit, okay. When your life is pretty smooth, when you got everything you need, you're not as angry, right? So these people don't really have as much hang up as the people that I'm entertaining in the hood. So when I say some shit that I'm thinking is setting up a joke, it's actually part of the joke. Like they like, damn, that's an interesting perspective. And I just keep hitting them, And all of a sudden, now I'm double-breasted in the game. I can work in white rooms, I can work in black rooms, I can work in any room. And there's a lot of it has to do with the tutelage I got from Evan Lionel and Bernie Mac. And there's other dudes that are hanging around that's ancillary that are now superstars. You know, B. Cole, Dion Cole, all them cats was around. Corey Holcomb.
Corey Holcomb. What about is Cat Williams from Chicago? Where is he?
No, he's from Ohio.
Okay,
he's from Ohio.
That's right. He's from Ohio. And then who else is from? What about Eddie Griffin?
I don't know where Eddie Griffin is from.
I know he's from East Coast somewhere.
But that dude, I just love him.
Yeah, Eddie Griffin.
He is amazing.
Yeah.
I had Eddie Griffin is the hood personified. Like he gonna tell you the straight up truth as he sees it, and I find him amazing. One time I worked with him, he didn't even know who I was. At the time I was a young comic at the Murat Theater, and we were all late getting there. And Eddie Griffin was like, shit, man, it's time to get the show on the road. I'm closing out. I need you to get this little nigga off the stage. And I'm up there, and it was after the intermission. The lights hadn't even went down yet. And I'm trying to get people to listen to me. And finally, I just started talking like ancestral grade shit. I'm talking about like your grandfather talked to you, like his father talked. You know, like I'm like, you niggas don't start listening to me. Just like Bernie took control of the room. I started taking control of the room. I started hitting him. But just as I was getting in my groove, he was like, y'all niggas is late. Fuck y'all. Get off the stage. And it was fair because we had wasted a bunch of the man's time by being so late. And so when he went on stage, this dude did, it was like 1 hour and 45 minutes of shit. And he did a bunch of shit about religion. If you want a nigga to be uncomfortable, start talking about God. And what he said was, basically he was equating black people with the people that hung around Jesus. His whole thing. All the shit that you read about in the Bible, you niggas are still doing. Then he just started explaining to them how they are, who those people were.
Yeah.
This is a concept that's really foreign to black people because it's hard for you to believe that you are something special when they're constantly telling you not.
You're
but
not,
you are.
Robbed of history.
Man, you are.
So at what point, did you went from, doing comedy and then worked in the correctional system and then said, you know what, I'm actually going to take this comedy serious. At what point did that transition happen?
I was, the first club I ever worked at was, again, called Funny Firm. White dude owned it, was a racist. The dude was a racist. But over time, being around black people, he got softer and softer until he and I became friends. To the capacity that he could be friend. You know, he was only so much he gonna do because he kind of evil. You know what I'm saying? But the dude and I made a movie called Chasing Robert. It was really funny, but he had a gambling problem and he had a problem with managing money. Now, he was a brilliant stand-up and he was brilliant at making a comedy perspective, but he just wasn't all that good with managing his money. So the movie got in hock, had a bunch of stars in it, and it was really a strong showing of his creativity and mine as being affiliated with him. But he just couldn't get it to the market. And it was the funniest shit. It was about him, basically, having a gambling problem. And he would lose bets to these bookies, and then he would make side bets to win so that he wouldn't have to pay the bookie, right? And one of the side bets he made, like he was like, I could eat more hot dogs than one of them Chinese dudes at the Asian dudes at the, or he would say, I'll climb the Sears Tower naked. Whatever I got, like this dude would go out and do. And one of the things he had was a bet called a fuck bet. And in the fuck bet, you pick any chick in here and I fuck her in 2 weeks. Was basically the premise of that bet. Well, this particular time he's betting this guy in the movie He's betting this guy, and the guy sees me come in with who he thinks is my family, and he goes, okay, you got to fuck him. He's like, what, a guy? He's like, yeah, you got 2 weeks. So now he's got to be my friend and figure out how am I going to let him fuck. You dig what I'm saying? Or if I'm going to let, he don't know none of this. The shit was hilarious. And it had a bunch of comedians in it that were mainstream comedians. And but he just got into too much hock in the movie. And it'll never see the light of day. But it was incredible. Oh, wow. And what it taught me was I can compete on this level. Mm-hmm. This was 2003 when we started. Because I left the jail in 2003. And I was like, you know what? I think I can compete at this higher level. Okay. And that's what made me know that I could. I mean, all these little rooms I had been doing before that, no. But this shit, I'm like, dude, I'm pretty fucking funny. But I still was too busy trying to be funny to recognize how truly funny I was. And then I did that thing with the Big Dog guys. Big Dog Eat Child. They had this character they couldn't make work. And they called me and asked me if I would do it. And I did it. And the first month after we put it out, this was in 2008, when YouTube was in its infancy.
Okay, yeah, it just started.
And I had 500,000 hits in a month. And they was like, dude, we went viral. I didn't even know what that meant. And we were partying and hanging out, and then they was like, we got to do something new. We got to put something else out. The first one was called Jones Big-Ass Truck Rental and Storage Facility.
Why leave anything on your front lawn, under your porch, on the side of the highway where you can store all that stuff my way, down here at Jones Big-Ass Truck Rental and Car Storage? Now, I know y'all got stuff at your house that you don't need no more, you don't want. You know you ain't gonna use that printer. Why keep it all around your house? Bring it down here to my house. You ain't the Dukes of Hazzard. You know you ain't gonna use that ugly yellow luggage. You don't need all this crap. What you gonna do with this? This is not, in my yard, I don't care. I'll store this motorcycle in that van for you for $10.99 a month.
Then the second one was called Jones Good-Ass Barbecue and Foot Massage.
Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage. Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage. Better come down here, get some of this shit. You like to eat. America loves to eat. So why not open up somewhere America can sit down, enjoy a meal, and get their feet rubbed? We'll fry anything you want for $5.99. As long as it's friable or edible, we're going to make it deliciable. We will fry parts of the chicken you didn't even know was friable. The beak, the feathers, we'll fry candy bars. All that European stuff that you don't really normally eat, we'll bring it down here and fry it for you. Ask McDonald's to fry something other than what they normally fry. Guess what you're going to get? Nothing. If it fit through the dough, I'll put it in the fryer.
And then the third one was called Jones Cheap-Ass Prepaid Legal and Daycare Academy.
I object. I defer. I find you both guilty of helping people for the ridiculously low price of $99.99. In today's broke-ass society, things are harder, so you need things cheaper. So I came up with Jones, cheap-ass prepaid legal and daycare academy. You are not the president. You don't need to make that type of money. You might need my legal services. You're just raising one kid, because I'm going to sue you. At Jones, we don't assess the legal fees after the case is disposed of. We make it prepaid. Prepaid meaning you need to pay before, just in case I need to invest the money in something else where you may need my services.
And all three of them did go viral, but the second one keeps going viral. Like every time springtime comes and people want to eat barbecue, Jones Barbecue is there. Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage. It's so funny because people ask me to do birthday announcements or all types of other things that
sounds like you should be a ringtone or something.
And I was for a little while.
Yeah.
I was for a little while, but it's just getting to the point now where I'm like, yeah, it's time for me to make some money for me and the wife.
That's right.
We got to make some generational wealth. Mm-hmm. And so, but it's so much fun being around the people, and that's what I really be wanting to do. Like when everybody else want to hang out in other places, I just want to hang out with the people and do what they do and talk to them and find out the pulse of the nation. And I can say, man, with a degree of confidence, this shit is getting better. Despite how fucked up it is starting to see a glimmer of light.
So what's on the horizon now? I mean, what can people expect from you? I mean, you're out here in LA now, you're doing your thing. I mean, are you working on, getting on some shows behind the scene? Are you doing a podcast? What do you have going on?
We are probably going to do a podcast, and I'm going to ask you to be a guest on it. I'm going to put you on the spot in front of these cameras and shit. I would like for you to be on my podcast.
Man, I'm there.
We have one. But we are doing a podcast, and I'm also working on touring a lot.
Okay.
I need to tell. Here's the thing about I could do about half hour on the jail. About a half hour, 25 minutes on the jail alone. I got other shit I talk about, but my whole point of doing that time on the jail, I want people to understand that these people are still human. And this humanity, again, it's not disposable. It's not going to go nowhere, right? Unless you kill it, it's going to keep growing. Now,
That's right.
well, how do you want it to grow? I'm saying let's boost it up and make it grow into something better than what it currently is. Let's be a part of something bigger than ourselves, give to each other, and help each other to develop. So I'm taking my shit on the road. I'm going everywhere that they let me go. I'm going to go into any place that will sit and listen, no matter your color, no matter your background, because I need you to understand that all humanity has value.
That's right. That's right. That's good talk, man. I mean, you know, we need more people like you out there spreading that message, man. And I think it's like a blessing to be able to have you tell your story from that perspective and kind of let people know that it's not like it's not all bad. There is hope, there is opportunity, and that you don't have to treat somebody like shit in order to get a point across, you know? So I think that's something that needs to be said more often, and that's the whole purpose of me doing this show, was to let people see a different side, and that, you know, not everybody is, you know, what they depict them on, you know, the media.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when I saw your shit, I was blown away, brother. I really admire what you're doing.
Appreciate it.
And I'm going to do all I can to support whenever you know, like if you need me to come back or whatever you need from me, you can get it from me, because I see the sincerity in your eyes, man. I want to be a part of that.
And how can people find, what's your social media stuff so we can?
Twitter, I'm on Robert L. Hines 1. Instagram, it's the same shit. It's
Okay.
Robert L. Hines.
And we'll have all the links in the description too. So we'll have all the links in the description. Hey man, it was a pleasure.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate the opportunity you coming on the show, taking the time. Y'all make sure you check this man out. If you see him at the Improv Comedy Store, wherever he's at, go check him out. Holler at this man.
I appreciate
Hey,
it.
it's been a pleasure. Big Herc 916 getting down fresh out.
Thank you, brother.
Robert L. Hines, man. Hey, make sure you subscribe. Don't be a damn weenie.